Well, welcome to the third YouTube video associated with Reframing Organizations. Still in the introduction to what we're going to cover during this semester. And here's your kind of pithy and concise chart that captures everything we're going to cover over the next 40 hours. So the idea, the premise, is that there are four frames: a structural frame, a human resource frame, a political frame, and a symbolic frame that allow us to view what's going on within an organization, and it allow us to influence the effectiveness and efficiency of that organization. The first frame, the structural frame, is one that we're probably very comfortable with because we see lots of artifacts associated with this within a particular organization or a company. So there's going to be an organization chart. There's going to be some set of roles and responsibilities and relationships that are formal, with authority vested in those roles. And that allows the organization to operate. There will be mechanisms, boy, that's an interesting pronunciation, mechanisms for coordination through meetings and committees and ad hoc groups and how to get things done. There'll be strategic plans and visions and goals and policies associated with the organization, and all of this ties into that kind of structural frame. But if you think about it from a slightly different perspective, there's also a human resource frame. Are the employees the most precious resource of the organization and to be nurtured and developed and trained? Or are they a disposable asset to be replaced by robots as quickly as possible? Are they mindless? Or are they talented? Do we delegate some power to them? Or do we withhold all power higher up in the organization? So the human resource frame explores the organization from this perspective. What is the fit between the people and the organization? The third frame is the political frame, and within the political frame you look at the allocation of power, the allocation of resources, and one of the premises or assumptions is there will always be scarce resources, and thus there will always be conflict and competition within an organization. So within the structural frame and the human resource frame, you may try to avoid conflict as something that is counterproductive. In the political frame, it's normal. It's if not welcomed, it's just how things are. And thus you need to have mechanisms for that allocation of power and those allocation of scarce resources. And there are all sorts of techniques associated with working in that type of an environment. The final frame is the symbolic frame. All the world is but a stage, and we are all actors and actresses playing our part upon that stage. And so we look at different components of the organization, the culture and the ritual and the ceremony, stories, heroes and heroines that define the success of the company, myths, symbols, metaphors, how all of these things pull together to create the success of the soul. And so the four frames, structural, human resource, political, and symbolic, provide mechanisms for looking at what's going on within an organization, and as a leader, rebranding, recasting, reframing the conversation so as to enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of that organization. All right, let's move on. I've put in this particular presentation all of the lesson objectives for each of the chapters. As you're going through, just know that you can come back to this one presentation, and all of those lesson objectives are going to be listed for you so that you can come back and look at those. We will actually talk about all of these things as we're going through this particular course. So lots and lots of lesson objectives. But we're going to break them up into manageable chunks, tie them all together, and then assess your learning and knowledge of reframing organizations. All right, well, that concludes this really short video, and next we're going to move into an introduction of frames.